Dear Luke Vinnicome, this video is for you. I would just like to ask you something. First of all, why haven't you been taking care of your father? Because obviously there's something going on there. The obsession with Chris Watts. The obsession with finding out the truth that's already been found out. Yes, we know that he's gaining a lot of money. And yes, we know that you're gaining off his money. We know that. But really, what you're trying to do, or what you're doing, is you're actually pimping out your own father. You see, Luke, your dad has been doing lives for the past week, continuously with maybe a few hours sleep. He doesn't go out. He doesn't seem to do anything else but sit in that little dingy room. That dingy room, Luke. Why is he in that dingy room? Have you kidnapped him? Are you forcing him to do YouTube videos for money? Maybe that's what it is. I josh. But the fact is that you're letting him, with his heart condition and his high blood pressure. Lack of sleep is very, very bad for a person. Sitting around for hours on end, you get blood clots in your legs. I've seen that before on news where a young gamer sat in front of his telly and played games continuously for like 3 days straight, getting fed by his parents, and then he died. I'm not going to say that's going to happen to your dad, but do you not think of these things, Luke Vinnicome? Do you not understand also that your dad is causing a lot of problems on YouTube? Your dad is putting a lot of people into danger with having these convicts on his lives. Your dad is going to hurt somebody, but you don't seem to care. Maybe it's just the fact that you're the same as your dad. But really, Luke, you need to take control. You need to get your dad to have some rest and to make sure he eats his vegetables. Because I know on one video he looked like he was either drugged up to the eyeballs, drunk, or so tired he couldn't keep his eyes open. Is that healthy? Is that what you do to your father? Is you going to sit back and just watch him carry on behaving like he does? Going on and on about the Watts case, hurting people, trolling people, hurting Frankie. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that, Luke? Letting your dad sit in that little room and continue to make video. Well, they're not even videos anymore, are they? They're just lives after live after live after live. You're enabling your father to do bad, and you're enabling your father to get sick. Do you care about your father? Luke Vinnicome, you really need to get a grip. Have a word with your dad. Tell him to back off a wee smidge. Tell him to go and get some sleep and eat a decent meat pie. Because he's going to get very sick. Not that I'm actually worried about the man. I don't really care at all. But I'm just concerned the fact that the Vinnicome family don't seem to want to look out for each other. You've plonked him down in that little room and you're letting him sit there and make video and video after video after video. Where's your compassion for your own family? Are you concerned about your child perhaps when in the future they see your dad on these videos pimping out his subscribers to this sex offender? Having Bubbles on alive with him and actually defending the sex offender. See, how do you know what the sex offender thinks? It's intent, isn't it? It's what's going on in his head, but what comes out of his mouth. Don't believe. Don't believe. Because we all know what people say, but what they actually mean. Now, obviously, that David, the sex offender, maybe have come onto your site because he knows people gain. They all become a celebrity, don't they, when they leave you? They all make up their own channels and defraud people and lie and create theories and conspiracies to gain more money. That's what happens when people go on your channel, isn't it? And that's what that David's doing, isn't it? But he's lying to you and you're just falling for it. Oh, he didn't know it was a 13-year-old. I would say there's a difference between a 13-year-old and an 18-year-old. Puberty for one. You really think that you can sit there and shame victims and say that this David's an innocent, he didn't mean to do what he did. He didn't even know. How do you know he didn't know? How do you know anything about this man? And how do you know that one of your subscribers decides to friend him on Facebook or email him, that he's not going to screw her out of every penny, that he's not going to go around to her house and put his hands around her neck like he did his sisters? Do you know any of this? No, because you're clever, aren't you? You're far too clever, aren't you, AD? Get a grip. Alan, get a grip. Luke, get a grip. Have a word with yourselves. Stop the bullshit. You know, there's no channel that made videos about mistaking David to be some kind of a child murderer. That's just, look over here, look over here. You get them to look over there whilst you're doing something over here. Point their eyes and their thoughts into a different direction. Nobody made a video about David saying that he had murdered a child. Nobody whatsoever. You're just faking it because you can't talk about the real reason, so you sidetrack to something else. The real reason's there. You talk about this or you talk about that, but you'll never talk about what actually happened. You're making excuses that we are saying that he is a child murderer. Oh, bless you. You're worried about Chris sleeping underneath a child murderer. What about him sleeping above a child murderer? You seem to forget that Chris has murdered people as well. So you're starting to feel sorry for sex offenders. You wanted to buddy up with Chris. You wanted to... I'm starting to wonder about what's going on in your head, AD. I'm starting to get concerned that your brain is wired the same way as theirs. You think the same way as them. You don't seem to have any compassion for the victims. You want to help the abuser. You want to start up a GoFundMe. Since when, Alan? Or Luke? Even Luke, yes. I'm talking to you, Luke. You're enabling sex offenders. Do you really know or have the experience to get involved with these people? Do you really know where this might go? Do you really know what you're doing? Do you have the experience and the knowledge about psychopaths and murderers? No, you don't. Alan, I'm actually sending some footage and some videos into the police in Somerset, into the newspapers around your area. I'm not making you famous or infamous. I'm trying to get the public to see that you're a threat to the community. So when I send them videos off, I wait with bated breath to see what I get in reply. I tell you what, because we're not going to give up. The truth community, we're stronger than ever. So please, Luke, have a word with your dad. Because your daughter is in the same house as a man that's talking to a child abuser, a sex offender. Luke, you're as bad as your dad, and your dad's as bad as the sex offender. I think I've said it all. I think I'm done. Thank you for listening.